Hey, I'm Dr. Paul Dyer. Welcome and to Bridges Live. Bridges Live, you listen to the podcast, and we know we have our radio show is on Facebook and Instagram Live, but we have been taking this little break here, this little sabbatical of the summer, and getting things all straightened out and worked out with the different things, and just trying to focus on some of the aspects that we kind of lost focus on. But welcome to Bridges Live, and I'm glad you can catch us here every Monday. Bridges Live, here with Dr. Paul and my partner, Hope Ann Dyer. She is at work today, so she is unable to join us here for Bridges Live, but we're going to continue on with our mission here with all the podcasts that I do, either weekly Wednesday or broadcast weekly. So what I want to talk to you about, if you look at the picture and you saw the pictures, you've got a bunch of clouds. And that in clouds you take from the plane. You saw that, and I hope you guys are traveling. If you are traveling this summer, you guys are all being safe. It is kind of warm out there, and hurricane season, and tornado season, and a lot of things, and flooding and rain. But what I want to get to is that we keep hearing these phrases of, for every action, there is a reaction. Now, in the science of movement, there is reflex actions, and there's spinal cord actions, and then there is synapses that triggers. You have conscious and you have subconscious, where the body is just going to react to it. Now, that's on a physiological level. On an emotional level, or neurological level, there's things that has causes, and then there's creation. So the mind doesn't have a reaction, it creates. So when you see something that is traumatic, okay, it has a causal effect, but then the mind creates, okay? It can create either an emotional response, but before the response, there's a creation. So how we are creating. So with actions, there are also creations. So what I want to talk about is the creation of action. The creation from an action. Or when we are following our path, or our journeys, there are things that are happening, right? There are things that can be situational. There are things that are progressive, and there are things that happen spontaneously. What I want to focus on in this conversation, Bridges Live, and before I get into this, also I'd like to thank all my sponsors and supporters out there. Without you, none of this is possible. Without the Creator in the heavens and God's blessing, none of this is possible. So I'd like to thank all my supporters and all my sponsors that are out there. You can always reach me on drpaulholisticscience.com, and you can email me. I'm happy from all the responses I am getting from you all. So when we talk about creation in the mind, when we are aligning ourselves with our truth, our higher being, our consciousness, and our subconsciousness, we have the ability to create. It is often we are not allowing for that alignment to take place because we have our heads in the clouds, and that's why the cloud is there. And our heads are for wishing and hoping and dreaming, and not taking an action to have creation. Before you actually take your action, are you allowing yourself to be open up to hear the truth of glory? Because then that's what your creator gives you creation. Your creator gives you your creation. You're not in this alone, and you have not been, or nor shall you ever will be. So the struggles that we're having, the struggles that even I have had and can have if I don't follow my Creator for the creation. Allowing myself to be aligned with my own purposeful living. It's not by just doing something because you know it's a good thing to do. If it is not meant for you to do, I don't care what and how good it is, it will never be good for you. So you can keep banging your head up against the thing over and over again, and your Creator is creating the life for you to live. And if you're not allowing yourself the action of completeness to align yourself, you're not going to create. You're going to always cause yourself more pain. And then your actions will have a reaction. And it will have nothing to do with you. Matter of fact, you will be blocking the glory that's meant for you. You will be blocking all things that is meant for you and in the path that's meant for you because you're trying to control it. And in that control, that is not happiness. That is not moving forward. The sacrifice you must give is to give up what you think you can control. The sacrifice you must give has a lot to do with what you're trying to hold on to and what you're trying to control. To create is to align yourself and allow yourself. You have to allow yourself before you can align yourself. You have to allow yourself before you can align yourself. And if you're not allowing yourself, then what you're doing is not creating. You're reacting. And in that reaction will cause fall. I'm not going to say failure. I was talking to my daughter today. We could fall, and we can fall as low as we want to, but we have the ability to get up. So you're not a failure. So stop thinking that, and I hope you stop thinking that you have been a failure or things have not worked out right for you. We're here to tell you. I'm here to tell you. We're the light workers of the world are here to tell you you're not alone, and we got you. We hear you. Most often, I think people are not being understood. They're being heard, but they're not being understood. And that misunderstanding that they feel from others is causing disruption. Because we feel the feeling is an outcast. Even I have felt there was an outcast of not being understood, being heard but not being understood. Now, when we do this podcast and Bridges Live and Weekly Wednesday, this is about a conversation, and there's some dialogue and some physical action that we're doing, and there's some philosophizing in action to this. So we can have a conversation, because what I'm talking about isn't just, it's just my opinion. And this is what I have journeyed through. Now, people can have a different take on it. Well, let me ask you this. Even if you have a different take on it, if you're allowing an action to happen, because an action will happen, like spontaneously, and your mind is not aligned, then what do you think happens in the action afterwards? Are you reacting or are you creating? That's the question. And what I'm saying is, if you're not aligned with your true purpose, if you're not aligned with your higher self, if you're not aligned with your God, if you're not allowing this alignment, then what you are doing is being a puppet outside of yourself. You are being misled by your own inaction of allowing, and you're not creating. That's what I'm talking about. Because for you to get the wealth you want, the happiness you want, the joy you want, you could be blocking yourself because you're struggling with trying to control self. Break open those barriers that we have created from the environment that we think what we should have been, or what we could have been, or what someone telling us what you should be doing. None of this is optimal. You know, like when your computer's not running at optimal speed, it's because you have cookies, right? And those cookies are slowing you down. Well, just think of all the cookies that are inside your computed body. Just think of what are you debugging, right? Have you debugged yourself? And the only way to get that virus out of yourself that's causing yourself to slow down and to be optimized is you. Are you in prayer? Are you releasing? Are you controlling? Are you joyful? Are you accepting your happiness, the path that is laid out for you? Are you hearing the sounds that is clearing up your heart, making you live, not survive? Are you creating? The only way to create is to allow. There are actions. And then there's allowing, and then there's creation. Aligning yourself with your higher self. We've talked about ways of doing that. And then there are struggles that we are going through as a nation, as a country. I mean, I don't want to keep talking about it. It's not something that we want to keep speaking into the universe, but we're not ignoring it either. This is not about ignoring, this is about creating an action. And I hope that when you listen to this, you say, you know what, I listen to Dr. Paul, and some of the things I agree with, some of the things I disagree with, but one thing I agree with is that I need to start creating for myself. I need to allow myself to have the Creator create for me, and I have to have that creation. Because that's what love is. This world is not hateful. It is not meant for you to suffer. There's suffering in it. We know that. We see it every day. Whether it be on the paper, news, TV, driving down the street, walking down the street, whatever you're doing, there's some suffering going on. The person that could be helping you in the store could be suffering in their life. Bless them. Pray for them. Pray for these blessings that people cannot pray for themselves. I pray for all people. I ask, not just for forgiveness, but to allow myself to be aligned with the Creator. To do the practice, the breath, the physical practice, the meditative practice, the mind practice, the clearing, the unblocking, the optimizing. We create chemicals in our body by what we are doing or not doing. And we've talked about this before on Bridges Live. We talked about this on Weekly Wednesday. We asked the question. But here's the answer. It is to allow yourself to align yourself for the Creator till you can create the life you were meant to live. Your happiness is right there. Right there. Right through your own personal barriers. Right through those things you call struggling. It is right through those tears that we shed in sorrow. We shed in suffering. We shed because we have misused ourselves and misused our words. We have misused each other because of what we always wanted for our own personal gain. And yet, we are missing our alignment. Because we're trying to force this. We're trying to not allow this happiness to come to us. Self-sabotaging, that most people, you've said this before. Most people have heard it before, is self-sabotaging. We're not trying to self-sabotage, but it is happening. So, what I want you to get out of this podcast, and Bridges Live, and thank you for listening again, is that there's a creation, there's a creator. There's an action, and then if you're not aligning yourself, then there's a reaction. So when you hear that phrase, for every action there's a reaction, that's because you are blocking yourself for aligning yourself with your Creator so you can create. I'm Dr. Paul Dyer. I hope this helps you. Contact me if you have any questions. And we will do Bridges Live again every Monday, and then you can catch Weekly Wednesday. God bless.